Good evening and welcome to the Crown Hill Journey. I'm Christina Apt. I am your guide on this journey. I am also the author of the book Crown Hill, a novel of love, life in the afterlife. Tonight we continue on in book 3, which belongs to Meg, and we will be starting chapter 5 out of 19 chapters. So without further ado, we're going to get started. Tonight, water. If you were with me this morning for Heart and Soul at 7:30, you heard my tale of woe that I watched too much news yesterday, and as a result, I fell asleep, but woke up at 1 o'clock and have not been asleep since. So tonight it's about water, not wine, so I can sleep better. Okay. Crown Hill, a novel of love, life, and the afterlife. Book 3, Meg, Chapter 5. Meg hurled the empty cardboard box down the back stairs. She took immense satisfaction watching the oversized carton bounce off the walls and fall atop the growing stack on the landing. Every room, upstairs and down, was now unpacked and settled with all of Meg's worldly possessions. Once she dragged the collection of boxes out of the house, for garbage day, she and Goldie would be officially in residence. Meg suddenly realized the significance of the moment. For the first time in her adult life, she was completely free to do whatever she pleased. Make her own decisions, create her own life, be herself without fear or ridicule or punishment. Most importantly, Meg knew that she was safe in a place where no one had control over her or could force her to do anything against her will. She was finally home. "Let the heart mending begin!" Meg shouted out as she danced through the upstairs, waltzing into her bedroom. Goldie had been napping at the foot of Meg's bed when she heard the commotion. Seeing her owner bounding with joy, the playful pet jumped up to join in the fun. Around and around they danced, Meg singing and Goldie howling, until finally the two collapsed onto the floor where the affectionate dog began lavishing her owner with kisses. "Goldie, Goldie, enough, girl, enough!" Meg could barely get the words out. She was laughing so hard. And the more she laughed, the more Goldie showered her owner with affection. It took a ringing telephone to short-circuit their celebration. Meg jumped up to answer the call. Actually, this was the first time since Meg and Goldie had moved in almost a week earlier that the phone rang. To be truthful, Meg couldn't imagine who was calling. She didn't recall giving out her new number. "Hello?" "Yeah, I'm looking for Margaret Flynn." The sound of her full name caused Meg to pause. "Hey, you there?" Yes, I'm sorry. This is Margaret." "This is Jake Kelly. I'm the owner of Kelly's construction company here in Eden. Jethro Tull's a friend of mine. He said you might be looking for work." Meg was immediately sorry that she had answered the call. With her legal work completed, she figured that Jethro was pretty much out of her life. She couldn't believe that he had recommended her for a job, especially without talking to her first. Plus, knowing JT, Meg could only imagine the character of Jake Kelly. However, the reality was she did need a job. She just hadn't started looking at want ads or filling out applications yet. Exactly what kind of a job is it?" Meg reluctantly inquired. "Well, that depends on the day. Some office work, some field work, some writing, maybe even some travel. Pretty much anything I need to help run my company and get my construction work done." "Well, to be honest, I really don't have experience doing some of those things, so I'm not sure I'm the employee for you." "Listen here, little lady. From what JT tells me, you're one sharp doll. Anything you don't know, I can teach you. And I'd rather teach someone the way I want things done. A lot easier to make somebody who's smart smarter than trying to make somebody dumb not as dumb, if you get my drift." To her amazement, Meg did understand the point Jake Kelly was making. and she found herself drawn to the rough and tumble sounding man. Well, Mr. Kelly, exactly what are the hours and pay for this job? Okay, let's get something straight right out of the gate. My name's Jake. Mr. Kelly was my old man. As for the hours of the job, they're whenever and wherever I need you, Monday through Friday. And the pay, I'm figuring I can afford about $8 an hour, plus mileage if you go on any jobs. So what do you say? Meg was caught off guard. She had planned on taking a couple of weeks to get settled in her home and get a feel for the town before worrying about a paycheck. She definitely needed a regular income, though, and she was also pretty sure that Jake Kelly was not the type to offer twice. Life was happening, and for the first time in her life, it was her life. As Meg was quickly realizing, she was completely in charge. Well, I guess, no, yes, I will come to work for you, Jake. Okay, can you be here tomorrow? 7 a.m. sharp. I got paperwork piling up everywhere around this joint. Another curveball. Okay, Meg, time to start learning how to trust your gut, she thought. Just make a decision. Ready, set, go. Yes, I can be there. The words flew out on command. But just exactly where is there? Hemlock, off of the main drag. Come down Sandrock to Main Street. Turn right and then take the first turn you see. You can only go one way. Look for a big green building on the right. Got a sign out front, says Kelly and Sons. With a loud click echoing in her ear, Meg found herself standing with her hand tightly wound around the receiver. It felt as if a hurricane had just barreled through her world. Then the mental gymnastics began. What did I just do? What kind of a job is this? I didn't even ask about a lunch break or vacation or sick days. And what am I supposed to wear? Panic started to rise in Meg's body, and with it a reaction that had betrayed her emotions from the time she was a child. Whenever she was caught up in a situation highly stressful or embarrassing, she would turn bright red. Not just a sweet blush that added color to her cheeks, more a full-out, head-to-toe, rosy red flush that blanketed every inch of her body. The first time it happened, Meg's mother explained it as the red spread, a condition experienced by generations of Flynn women before her. The worst part of the disorder was that it carried with it an intense heat. Meg literally felt as if her body's thermostat was cranked up to wide-open, full-throttle mode whenever the red spread occurred. Over and above the uncomfortable sensation, the increased warmth caused Meg to perspire. No ladylike glow here. A drip from the forehead across the upper lip, from the armpits down the arm, watery release that fully compounded the embarrassing reaction. As Meg grew from child to teen, her red spread experience occasionally included fainting spells. It would happen whenever her body transferred from hot and sweaty to cold and clammy at a pace that would leave her dizzy and ultimately passed out on the floor. To deal with the curious condition, Meg learned to recognize advance notice of the red spread as a tingling in her toes and a burning sensation along the bottom of her feet. Whenever she felt those warning signals, Meg did her best to find a place where she could privately endure the hot-blooded torment. The good news was that the red spread had quieted as she matured. The intense reaction was now a random occurrence that usually lasted only a moment or two. A quick trip to the nearest bathroom or a short stroll around her house or office, and the annoying condition pretty much disappeared. With only Goldie around as a witness right now, Meg was unconcerned with how she appeared at the moment. More importantly, she needed to prioritize the tasks on her to-do list. She started by noting the household chores that were absolutely essential and eliminating those that could wait until after she settled into her new job. New job, yikes, she thought. Just the idea of going to work in the morning started Meg's toes tingling all over again. To circumvent a red spread replay, the focused woman took pen and pad in hand and began writing. I need some suitable clothes to wear, at least a few things cleaned and ironed. I need to make sure that I pack a lunch and snacks. Gotta have snacks. Meg was a stress eater. Whenever life presented challenges, her immediate reaction was to rip into a bag of chocolate. It was a habit that escalated during her marriage. After one of Cal's heartless rants, or when he would overpower her physically, she would find sweet solace in the milk chocolate of any form, baking chips to expensive truffles. In consideration of her health, Meg was learning to modify her snacking habits somewhat. She now often substituted granola or energy bars that were only laced with chocolate. Hey, it's a start, she thought. Ultimately, no matter the food choice, whenever Meg was stressed, she snacked. The only other concern Meg had about starting a job was Goldie. She hated to leave her favorite pet alone every day, but she also had to face the realities of this new life. No longer was she part of a two-person household where there was always a way to ensure that Goldie would be fed or let outside on schedule. Goldie girl, don't you worry. Mama will make sure that you are okay while she's gone to work. And every day when I get home, we'll go outside and run around the yard and play tug-of-war with your rope toy. I promise. The sensitive pet responded by wrapping herself around Meg as if sharing a big hug. It was a special trick Goldie first started as a puppy when she was only big enough to get halfway around Meg's leg. As a full-grown dog, Goldie had perfected the technique to the point that Meg actually felt as if she were being embraced. The devoted owner loved these moments and always responded by reaching down and gently scratching behind Goldie's ears. The loving connection between owner and pet at that moment was powerful, bringing a swell of emotion to Meg's heart. Without effort or thought, tears began cascading down her face and onto Goldie's thickly furred body. Looking up, the tender-hearted canine gave out a soft whine, as if offering comfort. That loving response further encouraged Meg's tears, to which Goldie unwrapped her body, sat down, and placed her paw directly onto her owner's leg. Again, she offered a tender whine. Okay, Goldie, I love you too. With her declaration, Meg sank to the floor, where Goldie snuggled close in furry comfort. But as invariably happened, within seconds, the two were tangled in a rough-and-tumble tickle, a game which they had been playing for years. As Goldie bounded back and forth, nudging her owner from head to toe, Meg reached out to try and tickle her playful companion. Barks of excitement and shouts of joy filled the house as the two played to exhaustion, dropping flat to the floor, side by side, both panting for air. Meg was just about to roll over and give Goldie a big hug when a loud crash from the first floor caused both woman and dog to jump. Goldie ran quickly ahead of her owner, taking the stairs two at a time to investigate. As Meg followed, she found Goldie in the dining room. There, the dog was exhibiting the same aggressive behavior that she had shown previously at the mirror in Meg's bedroom. Goldie's hackles were up, her ears laid back, and she was growling. Goldie, quit! What is wrong with you? As Meg spoke, she gave a quick look around the room, searching for the source of the crash. Her eyes stopped at the glass book cabinet. It was one of the few pieces of furniture that Meg owned, and it was a treasured antique. It had belonged to her grandmother, her father's mother, and was uniquely constructed of wooden oak frame that encased beveled and leaded glass panels, an intricate and expensive detail. Although Meg had never met her grandmother, she felt connected to the woman through this specially crafted piece of furniture. Meg's heart dropped to her stomach as she saw glass shattered all around the cabinet. Her pain increased dramatically as she realized that there was a gaping hole in the antique where the glass door panel should have been. Despite her distress over the cabinet's damage, Meg's immediate thoughts turned to Goldie. She didn't want the dog to slice open a paw on one of the pointed glass shards littering the dining room floor. Goldie, come on, girl, let's go to the kitchen. Clapping her hands to grab the dog's attention, Meg started to run to the adjoining room as if playing a game. Although the dog was unsure of which instinct to trust, her owner won out, and she bounded after Meg. Once in the kitchen, Meg turned and gently took hold of Goldie's collar. The trusting canine followed easily as her owner led her to the back porch. I'm sorry to do this, girl, but I'm going to put you on the porch for a bit while I clean up the glass. I'll be back. As Meg closed the door behind her, Goldie began barking in vehement protest. However, the concerned woman was already back in the dining room, surveying the book cabinet more carefully, trying to figure out how in the world the glass panel had broken. There was nothing wrong with the cabinet that she could see. The glass panels on either side of the door were in place with not a mark on them. Stepping closer, Meg assessed that the hole in the broken door panel looked as if something had been thrown through it, as if from the inside out. Then she spied one of the larger books, an encyclopedia on gardening that her mother had given her years ago. It was on the floor, beside the bookcase. Meg was sure that she'd unpacked all her books and placed them inside the cabinet in an orderly fashion. And yet the third shelf, where she had placed all the oversized books, was in disarray, as if someone had been searching for a specific volume. Meg went to the kitchen pantry for a broom and dustpan, thinking that perhaps by walking away she would see something different upon her return. She did not. Slightly dazed, Meg began the task of cleaning up the fragmented glass panel that was almost equal in size to her body. It was while sweeping that Meg first heard the unfamiliar sound. A voice? Someone speaking softly. Meg stopped, looked around the room, wondering if another unannounced visitor had stopped by. No one. Then she heard it again. Meg felt fear knotting her body as she identified the sound as a voice. "Who is it?" she blurted out in frightened reaction. "What do you want?" Meg stood completely still and silent. Nothing but the sound of Goldie softly scratching at the back porch door returned. "Okay, enough of this," Meg said out loud, trying to calm herself and take control of whatever was going on around her. "I'm going to vacuum up the glass that is left, and then I'll call around to see what it will cost to fix this. Good thing I'm starting a job tomorrow." The cleanup work gave Meg some confidence that whatever just happened was one of those unexplainable things that can occur when moving, nothing more. As long as she didn't dwell on it, she would be fine. She just needed to get the bookcase glass repaired. "No big deal," she said out loud as one last test. Again, silence. But something else. Something familiar. The sweet scent of roses was once again surrounding her. Without hesitation, the determined Irishwoman headed for the phone. Meg was going to call Catherine Winston and invite her for lunch. She needed the knowledgeable realtor to return to Crown Hill. She needed to talk to her about Mary Southwick. She needed to learn more about this woman who once lived in her home and about her roses and the fragrance that was becoming a haunting part of Meg's world. "What have you done?" I knew my tone was harsh, but I was stunned by Mary's actions. After so many years of relative calm within me, it felt as if we were sinking back into the terror of her past hauntings. "Mary, answer me. We need to talk about what has happened. Crown Hill, I know that you are angry, and you have every right to be. But know that the book cabinet was an accident. I didn't mean to shatter the glass. I was trying to arrange a few of the books inside, and I errantly crashed one through the glass in the door." "Arrange the books? But why?" Why would you do such a thing? You know how I loved to read, Crown Hill, and how much I valued my books. I have been over a century of worldly time within you without any physical possessions. That beautiful cabinet filled with books entranced me from the moment Meg put it in place. I thought perhaps by arranging a few of the volumes in a special way, I could welcome and comfort Meg. Then it would be easier to engage her and make her aware of my presence. You see, Crown Hill, I believe that Meg has the ability to help me pass. I know this is something that we were never again going to speak about, but Meg carries with her the same powers that young Rose possessed. I can feel it. I need to try and reach out to her, dear heart. It is time. The thought of Mary's spirit becoming active again within me was both startling and exhausting. We had come so far over so many years simply by being, simply by accepting circumstances that were less than perfect, but which allowed us to remain together. Now, Mary was taking steps to destroy all of that. Dearest Mary, I love you. From the depths of my being, I love you. You know that. But I cannot begin to think about returning to the traumatic life linked to your desire to pass. And what of Owen? What of his hold on you and his rage that we both know can harm and even destroy? Truly, Mary, is this what you are choosing to bring into our world again? Now, after so much tranquility, I cannot even begin to fathom your decision. Silence, like a thick velvet shroud, fell between us. I could neither feel Mary's emotions nor sense her thoughts. There were only the echoes of my frustration passing through my being, allowing me to realize how my words must have impacted my tender-hearted friend. At the same moment, I felt fear burning like the singe of a finely sharpened razor. While the time may have come to reach out to Meg and see if she truly could help Mary's spirit pass, such change could only mean the dreaded return of Owen's evil and the stark reality of Mary's departure forever. Okay, so we're starting to get into some really interesting spiritual things going on in the house, and Crown Hill and Mary clearly at odds over how this is going to play out. Mary's pretty desperate. Like she said, she's been there for a century almost, and it's a long time to be trapped on Earth without any ability to go forward or back. And she has a feeling that Meg can help her. And I think you can understand that kind of desperation, right? When you think someone has something that you want and need. So it's understandable that Meg or Mary did what she did, but at the same time, as Crown Hill is pointing out to her, you can't just show up, right, at the party. So we'll see what happens. Meg's clearly getting the idea that the roses, the scent of roses, are something to be concerned about. And we'll see what happens when she talks to the realtor. So again, thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry about the in and out, the internet. Like I said, we've had snow all day here today, and it was storming pretty good just before I started. So maybe that's what it was all about. But hopefully tomorrow will be a new day. And I'm going to sleep. I've been up since 1 o'clock, so I'm going to sleep tonight and not watch any more news and just be happy, and be grateful that you joined me. And thank you. I hope you enjoyed it tonight, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at 7:30 for Meg, Chapter 6. Enjoy the Crown Hill journey.